They've even said they actually want AI to remake their old games. So if you want to play, like, I don't know, a new version of Halo 1 or something like Mech Warrior or something like that, they can take that and sort of like AI port them. Everybody has basically said this isn't how it works.
That's exactly how it works. What are you PlayStation fanboys complaining about? I thought y'all liked remasters and remakes. And the funny thing is, for all the people that are hating on this AI technology, then explain to me as to why Expedition won Game of the Year while also using AI. Let's also talk about the fact that you guys was hyped up for Halo Campaign Evolved just to find out that that game uses AI technology as well. Now, how long are you people willing to wait for these games, man? You got to ask yourself, bro. You're going to be like, what, 70 years old waiting for one video game? I mean, oh, just let the developers do it. The developers ain't doing anything. They're lazy. Remember, they have no passion. All they're trying to do is milk you for your money.
Essentially, AI is already so expensive just from raw power use, from just general infrastructure that...
And that's where the cloud gaming comes into play. We'll save that statement for later.
At this point, you might as well pay people to make the game because at least it'll be unique and original.
How is it unique? Did Last of Us Part 2 use AI technology? Oh no, it was a reskin of the same game that they dropped you on PS4. It was the same exact thing. Matter of fact, the game looked practically identical, but at least with the Halo Campaign Evolved, the game does look much more impressive. Like I said, man, this is a double edge, 50-50. I don't know what to really say. All I know is that it takes a long time to develop games, and AI is going to help subsidize that. My personal opinion, just using it on remakes and remasters does absolutely nothing for me, considering that I played these games 25 years ago. Regardless of how many times you try to shine it up and polish it, it's still the same exact game.
The whole point of today's video is that they just published a statement saying that they're mad that people keep calling it AI slop. You know, just so much of the internet now is weird, crappy, weird, fake-looking garbage. That's the future of Microsoft. That's the future of Xbox. And they're basically saying, we're super mad. Stop calling it slop. Even though it's worthless slop, don't call it slop.
That's exactly how I expect a PlayStation fanboy to act, man. You know, I like that. That was
Let's
good.
talk. I hope you're having a great day. And
Hey,
and subscribe.
Oh,
If
here we
someday
go
AI
again.
is good. You know, if
Here we go again with this. Back in my days, 1995. The year of the Spiral of the Dragon. Oh, just look at those polygons, man.
someday AI actually makes stuff that feels original, even if it manages to be lower cost, lower usage.
I can't believe we're going this far back, man, to the PlayStation 1. That's how you know PlayStation ain't got no games.
And stuff.
And what's even more funny, Microsoft owns the IP. Property of Microsoft. I thought this was a PlayStation exclusive. You sure about that? Because the last time I checked, Microsoft owns the studio.
I still feel like I'll always be against AI simply because I love the human spirit. I'm literally covered in book quotes. I've just worked at a bookstore for 10 years and stuff like that. And I always think about the fact that, honestly, the best games were made with tiny budgets by passionate people.
I mean, no, it wasn't. That's not true. That wasn't a tiny budget at the time when this game came out. Yeah, maybe in comparison to now, but back then, in regards to games that were playing on the Super Nintendo, yes, this was a high-budget game. That's why it's in 3D polygons, buddy. You can't compare something from 30 years ago and be like, look at the low budget. This was considered a high budget back in the days of the 90s. Okay? Of course, it's not now because we have advanced far past this in technology.
Old Spyro the Dragon. Think about all the quirky, crazy weirdness. All the indie revolution. Think about Expedition 33 or Slay the Spire or
which also uses AI technology. It won Game of the Year for using AI, and I have heard not one of you ponies complain about it. Well, yeah, you did, because you feel like your precious Death Stranding or your precious Ghost of Yote should have won instead.
Celeste or a trillion other cool games. Limbo. There's just so many games that are cool, unique, great, and not necessarily a $300 million budget. They don't make them cheap by just...
Well, if it's not a $300 million budget, then what is the point of buying another console? if every game could run on old hardware. This is what people was telling. That's why I told you guys that this quote unquote console war that you people keep talking about does not exist. Because if that's the type of logic that we're using, then there's no point to buy a powerful gaming rig. There's no point in buying another console if all the games you're playing are practically identically the same.
Generating slop, they make it cheap by passion, by focus.
This was not considered cheap back in the days when this game came out. What are you talking about? This was considered a high-budget game at the time of its release. You cannot take something from 30 years ago and say, well, the budgets was cheap. Of course they were, because technology has advanced past that, buddy. What are you talking about?
Having the end in mind. So let me take a look at the quote here, right? Microsoft beat people for saying stuff like that. Look at this. How does this word work for you? Because some people I feel like are still trying to defend that, someday AI will be great. Someday AI will make great stuff. I guess even in the best case scenario, even if we say someday AI will be able to adapt and evolve and make sequels to games, I guess I still don't actually care. I would rather play, review, and beat a bad game that's interesting.
What? Hold on. Now, mind you, I understand the whole concept of a bad game, which in my personal opinion is subjective. I would say that Mind's Eye would be that example, considering the proper updates that the game got, not at launch. But, yeah, but I mean, what do you mean by bad? I don't think anybody would want to play a bad game. I really don't think anybody.
I think I like raw, weird concepts. Recently, I did a big video about freaking Metroid Prime 4, and I've got a ton of problems with Metroid Prime 4. The fact that Samus is silent, the weird, giant, empty void in the middle of the map, just a lot of the collectathon-ness of it. I think that in a lot of ways, Metroid Prime 4 is a pretty bad Metroid. But I'll take that 7 days out of the week over even a scrap of the AI art. Because you know why?
I mean, you say that, but yet you was hyped up for Halo Campaign Evolve. We can go back to that video, and you was out there glazing. Matter of fact, we already know. You was glazing the visuals of this game. Oh, look at that. Just to find out that it was using AI technology.
They made it the best they could. It has cool graphics, it's got weird ideas, and it's got problems that at least are interesting. I almost like to pick apart bad stuff more than good stuff because it's interesting to see those and a bunch of YouTubers, tech YouTubers are hating this. Copilot is being shoved into everything else. Microsoft Word, Microsoft everything. Right now, if you do anything, it's even in the gaming space, essentially Copilot tries to, hey, do you want me to make this email for you? Hey, do you want me to tell you how to beat this boss? Hey, do you want to summarize the page you're looking at?
Get all the retro games you need. Hey, man, listen, I don't know how many times we keep doing this, but hey, I've told you guys, I've already warned you, if this is the future that you guys are looking forward to, as all these dinosaurs out there willing to wait 10, 15 years for games, I mean, AI is obviously going to subsidize that. But even then, companies are not going to want to use AI for a lot of these games, considering they're going to only use them for horrific franchises like Halo, games that, that sell reasonably well. They're not going to just use it for any other game.
Why can't I just read it? Why do I need an AI looking over my shoulder to approve my content? And the reason people are talking about it is because Halo Studios is reportedly going all in on generative AI. Now, there's different versions of AI. There's algorithmic AI. There's different styles of AI that are doing very advanced science. There's some pretty cool stuff about it. This, to me, this is absolute worst case scenario. And I'm not just against AI because of how much it's killing PC gaming, right? Even just now, actually.
It's done. And this is what's going to... And I've told you guys. Y'all didn't want to listen to me. Gamester with another W. I told you guys that this is what's going to push people to cloud gaming. When I say that, that doesn't necessarily mean I agree with what Microsoft and all these other studios are doing. That is me telling you, warning you of the foreseeable future, the gaming Moses of the gaming community. Instead of you guys waiting for me to come back to bring it in the news, y'all out here worshiping the golden PlayStation 5 and Xbox. I tried to warn you. I went to Mount GameStop. And I came back and I realized that my chosen people was worshiping a golden Xbox, a PlayStation 5. Trying to tell you guys that things are only going to get worse, but no, they got rid of all their retro games. Now they're waiting 10. Now you're getting old. Listen to the great gaming prophet. I'm here to tell you that gaming is over. It's no longer in your heart. render on to render onto Sony. It's over.
Just this morning, they're actually canceling orders
Oh, here we
because
go.
PC prices are about to double. It's toxic console prices because they're very similar parts. Very likely console are also about to skyrocket. I made a video about that.
Go cloud. I told you guys were all going to be forced into cloud, including you PC gamers. I told y'all this. People are like, yeah, games. I remember. I told y'all this. So I don't want to hear people crying and complaining, talking about games that you just started with everybody. You just started with... No. I agree with a lot of these. I'm not a huge fan of it either. But at the same time, I've told you guys time and time again, get every retro game you need. But y'all don't listen to me. You put more faith in these companies. That's what you do. Now you crying on your knees. Oh my goodness, man. Now you're complaining about these prices. At this point, I don't even care because I'm happy. I told y'all, man. I've had people in my comment section tell me, hey, GameStop, matter of fact, since I've listened to your advice, I've been doing what you've been telling me, and I've been having a more fun time. Listen to me, man. I see the writing on the wall. How come you people don't see it?
Yesterday, right? This thing, though, this to me, I'm just mad about this is the conclusion they think we've reached, right? Instead of making stuff original, instead of making stuff...
I mean, how original can you be if you're just remastering the same game over, regardless if it was AI? How original is that? Taking a game from 25 years ago and remastering it again just so ponies can get to play the campaign. However, even if you take the AI out of it, it's still not original. The game already existed.
Fun. Instead of making stuff that's unique, instead of making stuff that actually challenges you, that makes you think, that makes you reflect, they want everything to be derivative.
I mean, we haven't had challenging games in a while. I mean, that's why Souls games are up there. But even then, Souls games are becoming stagnant because how many Souls clones, Souls alternative is like at this point, I used to really enjoy Souls games. I don't enjoy them anymore. People told me I got Elden Ring, which is funny, but it's still sealed. I don't even want to touch the game personally. I don't even want to play it. I might play it, whatever. We'll see on a blue moon, but I'm not like looking forward to it. I know people say it's one of the best games. I don't care, man. I'm sold out, bro.
That's my whole thing, right?
I'm sold out.
This to me is one of the most important games of all time.
Out here pulling out the 1980s. I can smell the dust. Oh, in between the cartridge. Oh, yeah, smell it. Oh, yeah, I just like feeling on the pins, the connectors on the bottom. Oh, yeah, man, that's amazing, man. The type of dust that you get when you smell. Oh, yeah, the booklet. You can get a nice, good old whiff out of that.
Final Fantasy, original Final Fantasy, right?
There's some good
there's a lot
dust
better
on
Final
that
Fantasies.
one.
Final Fantasy 7, 6,
Oh,
9,
yeah.
10. There's a bunch of great Final Fantasies. But this really started it all. Essentially making a digital tabletop RPG pretty much before anybody else had really done. There was
The concept of all these RPGs comes from Dungeons and Dragons. How do you not know this, bro? You're like, Gabe, so you too good. I'm not even a fan of that crap. What are you talking? Oh, it's original. They're the first to do the table. No, Dungeons and Dragons. Look it up. Let me hear this
bunch
again.
of great Final
Oh,
Fantasies.
my goodness.
But this really started it all. Essentially making a digital tabletop RPG.
Oh my! So you actually did say that. You actually said that. No, it did not. It all was derived from Dungeons and Dragons. See, the funny thing is, right? And like I said, it's not about the Japanese, no. Japanese. It's not about that. But I find it so funny that Japanese get credit for American stuff. Dungeons and Dragons is American. You do understand that. The Japanese was highly influenced by Western culture. We even seen it in video games with Contra, Castlevania. This is all Westernized culture. Metal Gear Solid Snake. If you think what I'm saying. So when you guys say, it's Japanese, though, it's Japanese. Is it really? You tell me when one of these Japanese games has a Japanese protagonist. Oh, you're like, damn, Games. You're kind of right, though. The protagonist ain't even Japanese half the damn time. But it's Japanese! Okay, you know what? It's made by Japanese, but that don't mean the inspiration is Japanese. You understand? Or do I need to explain it in Japanese?
Pretty much before anybody else had really done. There was a couple things there. I think Dragon Quest...
I'm literally going to learn Japanese, man. I'm going to be talking Japanese the whole video. Okay?
They beat them to market by a bit, but I still think
Dungeons
that
and
Final Fantasy
Dragons.
is so interesting.
I really don't know how you don't know that, man. Most real RPG fans know that. I don't even like Dungeons and Dragons, but I understand that's what the inspiration. You say this is the first tabletop. What do you mean? So Dungeons and Dragons never existed?
Called Final Fantasy because this was their last chance to get their game studio to work.
That is
this
true.
Bombed.
That is true.
Hironobu Sakaguchi.
Now what you're saying right here is true.
Team, we're going to go back to college and basically become accountants. That game is important. AI.
It is so important that nobody bought Rebirth. It is so important that nobody cares for Final Fantasy no more. That's how important it is. It's so important that they went from tabletop RPG to making Final Fantasy a glorified action game now, like Kingdom Hearts. Wow.
Never had that.
So much for that influence of Japanese game.
That craving for approval, that raw ingenuity in a million years. They can copy Final Fantasy, they can make things derivative of Final Fantasy, but they cannot make Final Fantasy.
Because some people would say Expedition is a better Final Fantasy than Final Fantasy has ever been. What are you talking about? Matter of fact, games like Expedition is what people was expecting from a Final Fantasy. What are you talking about? Final Fantasy ain't even a damn RPG at this point. It's a freaking glorified, don't they got the guy that made 16 from Devil May Cry? Oh, but it's Japanese, though. It's a JRPG, though. Oh, really? Oh, my goodness, bro.
Look at this. Bad Xbox news. Well, at least it can't get any worse. It gets worse. Bad Xbox news. The life of an Xbox fan. I guess I'm annoyed about this because we're getting to this point now where companies are just trying to shove it down our throat and saying, oh, just deal with it. Yeah, it's slop. You guys want art. You guys want good games. You want to buy real stuff. Just take the slop, pig. You just take the slop. Almost every single campaign and in-game calling card in Black Ops 7 is AI-generated grok garbage. It's just giant day one patches or even day one DLC. Games that basically launch very purposely incomplete. And that stuff is a very bad problem.
Games like that even released like that back then. That's why they had different revisions. The difference is they just couldn't update the game. They only could update it by making another cartridge. Matter of fact, when Mortal Kombat, just to give you guys a history lesson, in the arcades was broken, it had infinite combos like no other, they had to make a revision in the same year, and they sold it to people again. Y'all like, damn, games to see. But back then you had to rebuy it. Now you don't have to do that. They just update it.
More.
But you can't technically say that they did not update and they did not revision back then. They did. Matter of fact, Sony used to do that a lot with their greatest hits versions.
Concerned about the fact that AI
I know my gaming history.
The real antithesis to gaming. It's the opposite of this art. It's the opposite of life. And in a lot of ways, it honestly...
gaming is the way, the truth, and the light. Yeah, gaming is the way. It's the truth. And it is most definitely the life. John 14.
Not just because of the rising price tags, but because it's games that are made for gamers, but not for gamers. And in a lot of ways...
What the wordplay? Let me hear
that. It honestly scares me. Not just because of the rising price tags, but because it's games that are made for gamers, but not for gamers.
Oh, they made for them because that's what the casuals are playing. Say whatever you want. That's for the gamers. Just because it's a game that you don't like to play, that doesn't take the definition of a game. It's just not for your audience. And that games to one another, we know this already. That's why I just went retro. That's why I just be playing what I want. I don't care about gaming like you guys do. I play it, I enjoy it, and I enjoy the hobby for what I can. I'm not sitting there stressing about when gaming gonna go back to the good old days of the 1980s and the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo. When is gaming gonna go back to the days of the PlayStation 1? Just look at them polygons. Now that's a real man's game. That game took time. That wasn't no AI. That was man-made. It was made. It was, it was made from the dust. It took it from the rib. You know what I'm saying? That's what this gaming stuff was. That's what gaming is. But this stuff that Microsoft is doing, it's embarrassing.
In a lot of ways, I don't even think it's for anybody.
Well, guess what? It's for my entertainment because guess what? When I'm playing my Japanese game, games, I'm out here laughing at these videos because these videos are funny to me, man. You know, like I said, man, the best way to enjoy these videos is to pop a good beer, play a good video game, and you can laugh at these fools for our own entertainment. All right? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, man, you know, I like Spyro the Year of the Dragon, but too bad it's not owned by the Japanese, though.